creepy, and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
Those two pages blew up at the same time is mind blowing. But the fact it happened 1,000 times all at once is something I can't wrap my head around. But who is still carrying one?
At least 9 people have been killed and nearly 3,000 injured when pagers simultaneously exploded across Lebanon today. The intended targets are believed to be militant group Hezbollah, and though no one has claimed responsibility, Hezbollah is blaming Israel and promised to retaliate after this latest attack. Israel is known to have used this method in the past, most notably to kill Hamas's chief bomb maker in 1996.
Wow.
A former NSA intelligence analyst said that Israel either had human operatives within Hezbollah implant the pagers with explosives, or a sophisticated cybersecurity breach could have caused the lithium-ion batteries inside the pagers to overheat and explode.
Someone pointed out if they can do this with a pager, they can do it with phone easier. I can unthink it now. Let's play another one.
We're seeing a variety of videos in which people in Lebanon are going about their daily lives in markets, buying goods in grocery stores, and suddenly explosions go off next to them. What this appears to be is hundreds of incidents where individuals, it's believed affiliated with Hezbollah, have pagers that have exploded almost simultaneously, all within a very brief period of time, causing hundreds, perhaps even thousands of injuries. Lebanese hospitals are calling upon staff to come back to their places of work. Among the injured is, according to one semi-official Iranian news agency, is the Iranian ambassador to Beirut. Now, Lebanese officials are suggesting Israel is behind it. This comes within the context of the continuing and increasing tensions between Hezbollah and Israel going back to October 7th.
This was a slick move by Mossad. Not only did it hurt terrorists, but now they're going to be scared of any attack.
3,
Ooh.
2, 1. Awesome.
Wow. Ooh.
A flock
And then you remember you left your phone up there.
of ducks has decided to sleep in the middle of an English town every night, so neighbors are now taking shifts on duck patrol, making sure the little waddlers make it safely to and from their river each morning and evening. The flock of around 30 ducks has chosen a cobblestone parking lot in Thirsk as their preferred sleep spot for the past 2 months, possibly as a way to avoid predators that hunt overnight by the river where they spend their days. But getting to this parking lot requires waddling through town and crossing a few busy streets, making it a risky journey. After witnessing a few close calls and noticing that the ducks take the same route at the exact same time every day, some neighbors decided that they'd become duck crossing guards, and a woman named Jody created a social media group dedicated to the cause. Thirsk residents are very passionate about their wildlife, and the group grew to over 1,500 members overnight. Now, neighbors take turns walking the ducks from the river to the parking lot every evening at 8:30 p.m. and even set up cones around them to make their presence more visible. The so-called duck wardens then wait with the ducks through the busy parts of each night, ensuring that nobody disturbs them, with some volunteers even staying until 2 a.m. on weekends. Then a new group of duck wardens comes back at 6:30 the next morning to escort them back to the river. They plan to continue as long as the ducks keep spending their nights in the town center, and they're currently working with City Council to put up duck crossing signs. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day.
Sorry, babe. I can't go out tonight. I have duck duty. Oh man, it's just jamming. Man, I thought it was the actual song, and you stopped him at the good part. I was trying to hear something.
Raise the minimum wage, then prices will go up. Then we'll just raise the minimum wage again. It's called mutually assured destruction. What do you think? It's a one-time use like a paper plate? You know capitalism is just made up, right? So we can make up whatever we want to help fix it. You don't think people who flip burgers should make $20 an hour? I think they should make 30. They do something important. What do? Send 4 emails a day and spell check a PowerPoint? You sound like a dad who got kicked out the family group chat for sharing too many articles about how you shouldn't trust doctors. Why should your job owe you a living wage so you can keep yourself alive to do the job? If it helps, picture your workers as Tamagotchis, because you seem to be having a lot of trouble picturing them as human beings. Type where you live into the MIT living wage calculator. Most of the time it'll just answer good luck. My book comes out September 10th. Link in my bio for
All that matters is the ratio between wages and the cost of living. The average salary here in Indonesia is around $400 per month. If you're single and make around that amount, you can live comfortably. Let's play another one.
Are you comfortable working in a fast-paced environment? You mean a poorly managed one? Am I at work or is Tom Cruise chasing me across a rooftop? Fast-paced environment, that's corporate speak for please work here. Everybody keeps quitting because the owner's emotionally abusive. Things move fast here. No, they move fast in the Love Island villa. We're inside a Kohl's. The translation is this: we need you to do 15 different jobs while only getting paid for one. Oh yeah, because I'm a Swiss Army knife. I'm multi-talented and completely unable to have a retirement account. I've got more rants like that in my book. The Customer's Always Wrong comes out September 10th. Pre-order for a signed copy. Is the title backwards?
Biggest red flag phrase besides, we're like a family here.
Let me show you something that you will never see ever again. I'm literally touching a slave woman's shoes. She's one of the main women of slavery, a midwife. She's a supervisor. These are her shoes. That's her bed. Her children would have slept right here. None of this has been touched.
Ooh.
The only thing that has been touched is these boards right here. These boards would have been touched. These are not original boards. The original slave houses would have had holes in the floor because 20 people would have slept in this room, and they would have slept with their feet outside of the slave house. So 20 is in here. Watch this count. This is upstairs. 2 rooms is up there. So that's 60. 20 on both sides of that room. Look at this house. It's original. It's not been torn down. 20 would be in this room. You had 80 people in this one house. Look at the outside of it. 80 people was in this one house. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. 80 people was in this house. Sharing it, I'm on live. 80 people were in this house. Watch this. Just like the project, a house is missing. Look, there's the next house. That's the third one. So you got 80, 160. Then you got this one, 240. You'd have had another one right there. Look at that. Now you got 320. And there's the last house. You got 300 slaves. Now watch this. There were lines of slaves right here. Those same houses was right here in this area. And them same houses was right back there. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You had 15 houses, 80 slaves. That's 900 slaves. 900 slaves was on this plantation. You had the overseer's house right there in front of them. All this is untouched. And a slave who was an authority would have been what? He would have been the landlord. He would have been the lord of the land. And this is where he would have slept, in plantation, on the plantation. He would have been the lord of the plantation when it came to the slaves. Look at that. All the way down. Slavery. Be blessed.
So landlord is deeper than what we know? And if those three could talk,
New sickening details have emerged of how Sean Diddy Combs allegedly sexually and physically abused women. An unsealed indictment against the 54-year-old music mogul claims more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and sexual lubricant were seized from his homes during raids in March. Diddy was also accused of forcing women to have sex with male prostitutes during freak-off orgy parties until the women were so worn out they required IV drips. He was arrested in Manhattan on Monday and slapped with charges of racketeering, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Diddy has pleaded not guilty.
Will, not you too.
Crazy.
How could you let Diddy do this? And in this most recent video is evidence that Diddy got to Will Smith, and the person that's describing the event even goes into detail of how bad it actually was. I mean, this is just pure evil. And on top of that, Will Smith, he slapped Chris Rock. He lets Jada walk all over him. Had his son's best friend go crazy on his wife. And now, since they found the tapes at Diddy's mansion, which is adding coal to the fire. And don't worry, I'm gonna show you guys the video. But it's honestly kind of astonishing to me, the sheer fact that Diddy got to so many different people, and everybody just swept it right under the rug. So much so that he even got to the likes of, we'll say, like A-list celebrities. To this extent, no one's safe.
And having anal sex with Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up, killing him.
Dwayne Martin, not The Rock, if you want to know.
Oh, he's back. He's not feeling so well. Oh, wait, I got to start. Oh, I missed all that. Oh, my God, Mom! I hope you got it. Oh.
Everything you know is wrong?
Dude, that whole thing, I thought I was on recording. I wasn't. Did you record that? So disappointing.
Yo, are you not seeing this?
No, I was seeing it. I thought I was recording it the whole time.
No, are you not seeing?
I wasn't. Steven, I'm on a
That's crazy, bro. It's right in front of our faces, bro. What the?
Dude, that's like you can almost reach out and touch it, huh? It's fucking badass. We got our own television show here. We're watching the whole thing. It was badass.
What? Subliminal. It says social media is the Antichrist.
From the beginning of time, our world has been shaped by fighting. Hand-to-hand combat is the genesis of sport. Primal competition with universal appeal. Every corner of the globe has fighting traditions and heroes. But no culture embodies the fighting spirit more than Mexico. No place on earth has produced more legendary warriors. A heritage so ingrained in Mexico's identity, it's woven into the very fabric of the country. Only Mexico has a flag emblazoned with a fight. An eagle and a serpent. The eternal battle for the soul of a nation. This is the night we celebrate Mexico's independence and warrior spirit. This is the night the worlds of sports and entertainment come together. This is Noche UFC.
The Sphere is like the modern day equivalent of the Colosseum.
Be aware when using iPhones at night, Face ID can kill you. This is Face ID, and also when you're taking night mode shots, this is what it looks like. This is night photo mode. Night mode photo mode night.
Or just use pager. Oh wait, it might be worse.
Villages in Florida. It's the biggest retirement community cult in the world. And it's known as the STD capital.
Yeah.
You have to be 55 and older to be in this community.
That's weird.
Yeah. Around the village, they drive golf carts, right? And on the golf carts, there's different colored loofahs that they put on. And that signals what they're into.
So this is cool.
Yeah, it is.
What do the loofahs signify, if you know?
The Villages, it's known for and loofahs, there's colors to them. Each one, it just means something.
So the white one is novices and beginners. The purple one is people who like to watch. And then the pink one is soft swap, people who like to do it with others in the room.
Oh.
Imagine all the old people just go in there.
Get out of here, man.
Home, fam.
Oh.
Yuck.
People who are very funny often grew up in circumstances that were not funny at all.
That's interesting you say that, because I remember Jimmy Carr saying, people always ask me if I'm depressed. That's why I'm a comedian, but actually you should ask if my parents were depressed.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, very often the wit of the child is there to ward off the parent's depression.
Really?
Children come into the world, and all of us are honed by nature to figure out, what do I need to do here to survive? In some families, you need to excel academically. In some families, you need to fail academically. In some families, you need to be very witty. In some families, you need to be invisible.
Why would you need to fail in some families?
Oh, well, the classic one is parental envy. Some parents are hugely envious of their own children, and they cannot bear that their child, who they've put on the earth, should be happier than they've managed to be.
What?
And so therefore the child has to take early retirement. You know, families are difficult places, and dynamics occur that really go way beyond what we're ordinarily prepared to tolerate.
100%. I want my child to be way better than me. You know, uneducated parents are more likely to tell their children that being highly educated is a sign of arrogance or thinking you better than others.
Hart is at a Diddy party, and they made the mistake of putting the content online. So I'm about to show you some darkness, okay? So watch the video. You're about to see it's not a normal thing that's happening, okay? You have a girl in the bathtub. I'm trying to cover up as much as I can, and just watch what happens to the girl in the surrounded by water. Watch what happens to her. Just keep watching. It's about to happen. It's about to happen. Watch at her. You see what's going on there? You see the smoke? You see the smoke? Her is on fire.
Ooh, yeah.
Kevin Hart finds it hilarious. He's laughing hard. So when you hear that dodgy things are happening at these weddings, at these parties, okay, really bad things are happening, and he's about to take down so many people from the videos from the parties are about to go to jail. Diddy is the Harvey Weinstein of hip-hop, according to some people. I'm not trying to get sued. So watch this space and see how many celebrities are going down because of this dude.
Kevin Hart is not what everybody thinks he is. And Diddy will start singing. Mark my words, he will not go down alone.
The most popular item at CiCi's Pizzas, it's a pizza chain, is not actually a pizza. It's their cinnamon rolls. It's also not the most popular pizza chain in the world, but it is, or at least it was, one of the only places in the entire town that would hire 15-year-olds and give them a part-time job after school. And on top of that, the owner, Harold Sasko, so he's the owner of 3 CiCi's Pizza franchises. He's not like the owner of the CiCi's Pizza franchise company. He just owns 3 locations, and he would hire 15-year-olds, and he's really cool. Harold is interesting. People say he's a cool boss. He lets the high schoolers call him Hal, and instead of talking to them like they're irresponsible, incapable, incompetent 15-year-olds, which is usually how these kids feel like adults talk to them, he talks to them like they're his age, like they're also adults. And Harold could just see from a mile away that Sarah McLynn is hurting. She's got scars on her arms, on her wrists that are in various stages of healing. She just seems lonely, like she doesn't have anyone.
Does she work for him? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, so she's one of the employees.
And he's her boss. And he's also 33 years older than her. So technically old enough to be her dad. And he tells her, I can help you get on your feet. I can see that you're really struggling. And when you're ready, I can help you get your life together. I can help you learn how to run a business, kind of like a dad or a mentor, like a father figure. You can even move in with me. Harold has been divorced 4 or 5 times. Right now he lives alone. He has got a spare room she could use. It's completely up to her.
How old is she at this point?
17.
Okay, and he's 33 years older, so he's 50?
Yes.
He was going to show me how to run businesses so I could eventually run a business of my own. I really looked at him as a mentor.
She does not know that her new mentor, Harold, has downloaded hundreds of videos of violent, explicit content onto his phone and visits X-rated websites that feature children, teens, and bestiality.
Ooh.
At least 20 times he visited a website that featured men fondling or having intimate relations with women that appear to be asleep. Sarah did not know this at the time. Instead, she had his name saved on her phone under the contact Dad.
It was
What?
worth more for you to pay 365 million euros a year than to allow more Muslims into your country.
Of course, yes, because life has no value. Of course. We did.
At what point would you say, what if they make it 10 million a day? That's 3.65 billion.
We would pay, yeah.
What if they pay you 100 million a day?
Even if they would fine us $1 billion a day, we would still fight for our life because they think, and that's very good point you made, because they think, the way of thinking mainly from Germany, is that they can buy you. They can fine you. They can destroy you by money. But they don't understand that we have dignity, honor, history.
That's it.
And we went through so much that money is not the most important in our life. It's not our core. It is important.
However.
It is important for our economy. But you have to remember that if they would mess up with Poland, they would find Poland taxing their products. And we have the tools to fight back.
What's your tool?
Well, Great Britain left European Union.
That's the point I was going to get to. So would there ever
if
be...
they would do it, if they would put us in a situation when there is no choice, we would say bye.
I don't get why people get upset when you say you want to keep your country for yourself. It's been like that for thousands of years. Respect to Poland. Bro, your guard dog is Scooby-Doo.
This ranch owner has given up trying to convince their horse he is not a dog. This is Jimmy. Jimmy has been surrounded by dogs ever since he arrived at Siobhan O'Kelly's home at just 5 months old. Siobhan runs a dog training and walking business, so Jimmy constantly has new members of the pack to greet. He loves joining the gang on short walks, and Siobhan told us, if I take a group photo of the dogs, he comes charging in not to miss out on the shot. He's always been very gentle with the dogs, being careful where he puts his hooves, and being a great ambassador for proper training around livestock. He has always had such a sweet and kind nature about him, she says. Likely because he thinks of himself as just another dog. In a 2022 post, she shared that the miniature horse was adamant he's a Saint Bernard. Originally, Jimmy was intended to be a present for one of her dogs, Athena, who, like many young girls, apparently wanted a pony for her birthday. She enjoys hopping up on Jimmy's back. He doesn't seem to mind because he gets free back scratches out of the deal. Jimmy has had quite a few favorite dogs over the last 5 years, but lately he's most attached to a Jack Russell named Delilah. She said, I swear they are in love. They go and find each other and spend 10 minutes kissing and grooming each other. In a decade of running her business, she says she's never once had an incident of Jimmy and the dogs getting into any trouble. Now that Jimmy is officially an honorary dog, we are going to give him a 12 out of 10.
Jimmy is a very good dog.
Okay, this is getting hard to believe, but there has just been reports of a second wave of explosions in Lebanon, but this time it's people's walkie-talkies.
Oh my goodness.
Yesterday, Hezbollah fighters' pagers. Today, their radios. Initial reports are saying that the most recent wave of explosions have caused cars and houses to be set on fire. And there were even reports, this one's crazy, that one exploded at a funeral of someone who died from yesterday's explosions. And while I'm on the topic of explosions, you're going to see a lot of reports of people saying explosive devices found at Trump rally. Even going as far as saying third assassination attempt, ? Let me just save you some time. That is a false report. There's going to be a lot of corrections. Don't worry about it. I'll keep you updated.
Those countries targeting civilians in mass numbers for decades. Nobody says a word. Now, our pagers and walkie-talkies explode. Don't cry, get them back. It's a war, not a picnic.
This is the very complicated, nearly unbelievable case of Thabo Bester. May 3rd, 2022. It's really early in the morning. Most of the prisoners are asleep when they hear this loud banging noise. It sounds like a firework going off, just bang. bang. And then the sound is echoing off the prison hallways. And the whole section of the prison, they go silent. But then nothing happens. So some of the prisoners, they roll back to sleep. Others roll on their sides and they're chit-chatting with their cellmates until 3 a.m. rolls around and another loud bang goes off. And it's even louder than the first one. It almost feels like a bomb this time, not even a firework, an explosion. The ground is briefly shaking and the prisoners, they're staring at the opening. They try to look down the hallway and it's like a chimney. The hallway is a chimney. There are big masses of gray smoke that's just billowing down now. Some of the inmates, they run, grab their blankets to cover their mouths. Others are rushing to get the guards' attention. When the guards are finally alerted, this is what they do. They briefly glance at the CCTV cameras. I don't see a fire. They say they don't see any smoke on the CCTV cameras. So why go investigate? Maybe that's why it takes them a while to finally recognize, no, the CCTV cameras are not working properly. There is a fire. You need to go put it out. When they do, they go into cell 35 where there was some sort of explosion, some sort of fire. They put it out and underneath this gasoline-soaked mattress that's burnt to a crisp, it looks like a piece of toast. Under the mattress is the fried, dead body of a man named Thabo Bester, a convicted serial R-worder and a convicted killer. It's very quickly ruled that Thabo Bester self-exited in prison, while Thabo Bester's body is quietly sent to this government morgue. 5 days later, a woman is gonna walk in with her father. Name? Dr. Nandifa Magadumana. What can I help you with? We're here to pick up a body. She's here to claim the body of a man everyone calls the Facebook Thabo Bester. What the hell is a celebrity doctor doing picking up the body of a convicted killer? There is a picture of Dr. Nandi, the celebrity doctor that likes to visit morgues in her free time, and it has since gone viral. She's out at the store with her family. They're buying a bunch of mundane household items. She's just buying random little snacks and some toilet paper. There is absolutely nothing alarming at first glance about this picture. In theory, it's quite innocent. Dr. Nandi's 2 children are there with her, her 2 daughters, but there are 2 things that are incredibly wrong. One, the man in the photo is not Dr. Nandi's husband. She is married to another well-known famous doctor. He's not the man in the photo. 2, the man in the photo is a convicted killer that's supposed to be dead. The man is a dead man walking next to Dr. Nandi, Thabo Bester.
When you store fat out of proportion on your body, something isn't right. In the past, when I was vegan, I was an A cup, but I still carried my weight in my butt and my thighs. But my breasts got down to an A. Now in high school, they were a C cup. As of right now, I'm a C, and I'm between 133 and 136 pounds, depending on where I'm at in my cycle, and I'm almost 5'9". Your body will get proportionate, ladies. That is the big thing, because when you store fat out of proportion on your body, something isn't right. But it doesn't start with estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone. It starts with insulin. Insulin is our master hormone. Insulin is the ruler of everything. And as soon as you realize that and figure it out, you're going to be like, oh shit, I didn't know.
If you have a problem with insulin, then you will store weight in your stomach. You know, people with diabetes.
New Yorkers, the weird time in the weather. You're like half summer, half winter. Like you don't know what to wear. Let's slow down before the Christmas trees and your mother wrapping that project door from a lot less Christmas shopping. We're not ready for the Puerto Rican to start selling pasteles and croquis on their Instagrams. Let's get through Spirit Halloween first and the Halloween parade, which I think is one of the best parades in New York City. Before you give this little ninja some candy from CVS and post this picture on the family group chat, because you know New York too dangerous to trick-or-treat in, so hold off in the Uggs and the North Faces, because Christmas don't kick in for me until I see them sleeping on this. The heat from the vents keeps them warm. And good luck if you commute from Penn Station. So the storm team and First Alert weather need to hold back a little more. But I'm going to put on my Christmas lights just to mess with people, because I never took them down. Stop saving their bottles for the coquille.
The most NYC content on TikTok.
Shia LaBeouf. Meet Kanye West. 2 men known for their very public erratic behavior. Oh, y'all ain't know about Shia? Well, you about to find out. Let's just say he be wildin' anyway. Back in the day, they had a little bit of beef. Now, if you think a beef between Kanye and Shia would be weird, you're right. One day, Kanye hits up Shia. It's this era Kanye. He goes, yo, Shia. Shia goes, what up, my boy? Kanye goes, hey, bro, I love how you dress, my dog. Shia goes, I appreciate you, bro. So I'm working on this project. Kanye goes, bro, I love projects. What is it? Now, Shia begins to explain that he just got a deal from the Super Bowl. And listen closely. He's going to make an anti-Trump live stream. Now, even though it's this era, Kanye, this is like a few months before he wore the hat and all that stuff happened. Kanye says, I'm down, yeah. So Kanye goes over to his house. Now, remember how Kanye said he likes how Shia dresses. He asked Shia if he could pick out some clothes from his closet. Shia says, yeah, of course, man. So Kanye starts picking out some clothes. Then he starts picking out some more clothes. And he goes, Shia, by the way, this is for a pop-up shop I'm doing. You know what? I'm just gonna take everything. Well, then he takes everything, according to Shia. Shia go, Kanye. Kanye go, yeah. Shia go, yeah. You took all my clothes, broski. Kanye go, no, I did not take all your clothes. Look in the back. Shia looks in the back. He sees a few clothes. He go, Kanye go, what? Now, according to Kanye, he's doing a pop-up shop, so Shia doesn't really say anything and just lets him take it. But a few months go by and there's no pop-up shop. But he starts seeing Kanye in pictures wearing all of his clothes. Ring, ring. Shia gets a call. He said, who is it? They said, it's the Super Bowl. He said, oh, I got that address. The Super Bowl said, shh, we don't want it no more. So Shia says, screw that. We'll do our own live stream and call it He Will Not Divide Us. But then suddenly Kanye gets on a stage, goes on a very long rant, and at the end says, Shia LaBeouf, Kid Cudi feels some type of way, give him a call. No one knows what this means, but apparently Shia knows what it means and says Kanye was throwing shots at him. So Shia decides, screw it, he removes Kanye from the live stream and decides to bring in Jaden Smith. Now here's where it starts to get wicked.
No.
The live stream itself was already wild. It was supposed to be a place where people could just show up, do their thing, and yeah, you know, peace, love, all that. But then Shia starts wilding. He starts getting mad aggressive at people, talking about he won't divide us. Peace and love, all that. People, go ahead, Shia. Shia said, nah, for real, peace and love. He started trying to kiss bro. Bro like, hey, yo, chill. Shia don't chill. Shia said, y'all gonna get this peace and love. He started trying to lick bro aggressively. Now, this was in New York, and one thing for sure, two things for certain, that man looked African-American. Y'all could probably guess what happened next. So after this incident and a few others, the live stream gets shut down. Then at around the same time, this happened. Then this happened. So Shia was probably like, oh. But then he goes on to say he had no problems with Kanye. They just kind of stopped talking after all this happened.
No way Ye was beefing with Ladies Man 217. If you know, you know.
2003, she was 11 years old. She was groomed at her primary school playground. By the time she was 16, she had been sexually exploited by over 150 men.
What?
This one survivor that we saw in court on Thursday, it's just one of them, but she gave what is undoubtedly one of the most emotionally charged and powerful things I've ever seen, which was she addressed her defendants in court directly, telling them that they had lost. She said, you took my childhood, you took my freedom, but I am your karma, as they were sentenced to 106 years in total. But just before she gave that speech, I heard the CPS barrister in brief conversation with the judge, Mr. Justice Slater, and they said, before she gave this victim impact statement, that any discussion on whether or not these men remain in the country is for the Home Office. Now, she then didn't deliver a part of her speech that was removed on the orders of the judge, but she's passed me since a full copy of the victim impact statement she wanted to deliver, which includes the line, I'd like to request that 2 of the men are deported after they serve their sentences. One of those men required an Urdu interpreter in the court. He couldn't sufficiently understand English as he was being sentenced, and throughout the trial. 22 years ago, he abused this girl, attacking her when she was 11, but still he doesn't speak the language, and that's in part because he hails from Pakistan, where many of the grooming gang abusers have done across the country. Now, under the UK Borders Act 2007, any foreign national sentenced to a custodial sentence of 12 months or more must be deported. That's the law. It rarely happens, in fact, because of the ECHR ruling and the government's commitment to refugee conventions. But here's more. In the 2022 Nationality and Borders Act, this government now has the power to punish nations that refuse to accept nationals being deported back. We can punish them by applying visa penalties.
Right.
My sources tell me that the Foreign Office has consistently blocked any application of that power. Now, there are about 40 people who've been prosecuted successfully in the Rotherham abuse scandal. Of 1,150 victims, over 1,500 victims originally identified by 2 previous government reports. Just 40. None of them have been deported. Many of them have dual nationality or are sole Pakistani nationals. There are also other backgrounds involved, some British nationals as well. Based on my research looking into this issue for many years, more men have fled prosecution after fearing investigation than have been deported due to this heinous crime, possibly the worst sexual abuse atrocity in this country's history.
Where were the parents, teachers, safeguarding?
You ain't never heard a crackhead say, I ain't got no money today, so I ain't about to go smoke no crack. You ain't never heard that. Why? Because they do it no matter what. They get it done. Go out there today with that crackhead energy. Go be a crackhead. I mean, don't go smoke crack. I'm just trying to give some morning motivation,
I
man.
got you.
I don't know how else to say this. Hone in on that crackhead energy.
Yup.
Don't do crack, but be a crackhead.
What?
But not a crackhead. Just have a good day today. Shit.
This is the motivation I need today.
This person started to see post-it notes in their house that had writing on them, but it wasn't his writing.
Yo.
And it's because they're post-it notes that would be predicting what he had to do. I know you're gonna take out the trash for this time.
Whoa, stalker.
Whoa. So what he did, he put a camera and left it on 24/7 just to see if anybody came into his crib, right? When he went to go check the computer, all of the files were deleted. And there was more post-it notes. He wanted to like ask his neighbors and stuff, like, is something going on? His neighbors told him, there's been post-it notes all over the building. So the guy's starting to think, yo, is somebody sneaking into my house?
Wait, I'm getting scared.
Surveilling him and trying to stalk him. The guy was like asking Reddit, like, what do I do? And one of the Redditors said, take a picture of your room real quick. So he sends the picture and the answer is a crazy plot twist.
What is it?
Somebody else commented, I think you need to go to the hospital.
What?
Because from the bedroom, and since he's in Boston, they realized his bedroom was so small and there's no ventilation. His room was being filled with carbon.
You guys, did you see that Canada stopped paying their bills? Like, they literally stopped paying all of their bills, their mortgages, everything, because they that up. What are we doing? We need to come together. This is...
Snapshot tonight from Equifax Canada of the financial pinch Canadians are facing and the growing number missing repayments. Nationally, mortgage delinquency rates rose 52.3% in the last quarter of 2023, more in BC and Ontario, where house prices are higher. Delinquency rates for non-mortgages, including credit cards, rose almost 30%. High interest rates and inflation are being blamed for the surge. The financial picture comes.
What? This is so crazy. These people are literally fed up and done. They all came together and said, yo, we are done. You see what I'm saying? Y'all are going to have to do something about it. Like, this is so crazy. Definitely let me know what y'all think. Because, like, they're maxing out credit cards on only just groceries. They're not paying rent, no car notes, no none of that. Because the interest rates are out the roof. Just check out what you got to say about this.
Sick. There is no more cost of living. There is only cost of surviving.
Wow.
Girlfriend and I met for coffees the other day, and she owes a little bit of money to the government, and she was crying to me, saying, I don't know what to do. I'm working 3 jobs. I'm a single mother. Like, I can't afford to live here anymore. So she had a call with the CRA, and the CRA ripped her apart. They said it is unacceptable that you have not maxed out your credit cards to pay us. It is not acceptable that you are paying $1,000 a month in groceries for yourself and your 3 children.
What?
You need to cut back. So she said to them, you're telling me that you want me to take the food from my children's mouth to pay your greedy ass when it's your fault that groceries are astronomically priced right now. We are all in this together. We are all suffering together. The cost of living is killing people. Families are falling apart.
UK, America, you hear that?
Today's episode of Random White Acts of Danger, we have a bear running. I mean, first things first. What you doing in that bear crib? Like,
Ooh.
that's what I'm saying. Unnecessarily putting yourselves in situations you don't need to be in. Who crawls through a hole? And I know you probably seen the hole, like, oh, that look like a bear den. I should go in it. Now you in his crib. How are you staying so calm? Makes no sense. I'd be freaking out, but I'm not gonna lie. I think the calmness may have saved your life. Now you happy? This bear in 1 second could end you. One paw, one bite,
That's
you are
it.
cooked. And you over here recording with the flash on. Are you insane?
Ooh, man, look at that. Ooh.
I personally think I probably would have died of a heart attack before
Yeah.
this even happened. At this point in time right here, as soon as he took that first step down back to his own crib, I'm dead. Heart attack. You put your flash on and started recording this beast of an animal. Look at the paws. Ain't no way.
Oh, look
You
at
just in
that.
the bear crib, chilling in the cut like peroxide. And then you approached him, which I mean, I guess you have to because you had to get out the bear's hole. But You're letting him sniff you.
Man,
This
bro.
could have been your last moments ever, and God would have been like, "What did you expect, my young brother? That is a bear." He gonna say, "Excuse me, pardon me, sugar bop, honey buns. Let me get up out your way." No way. Strictly for vibes. Run the outro.
Bear was like, "Oh, you're recording? I don't want to get canceled."
Like after that slam, I got so popular in Japan. I got so popular in Japan that the Yakuza, the head boss, wanted to meet me, and I went and met with the Yakuza, right? and I remember I was with my ex-wife. She was my girlfriend at the time, and I went there to meet the Yakuza. I never met any Yakuza. I seen them before. I never met them. And they were like, "Oh, my boss want to meet you. My boss want to meet you." I'm like, "I don't know what that means." I thought, like, you know, like, "Yeah, boss here." And they take me to this hostess club, and they go into the super VIP room, which is like, it's a hidden wall behind the bar. You can't see it. It's seen this wall. We went back there. It was a bunch of Japanese people back there watching Jackass, and they were smoking weed. And they most,
like our Jackass?
yeah. And they it was like a big screen TV back there, room bigger than this, and they were smoking weed, and they were talking to me. And they were like, "You want to smoke?" We were like, "Nah, I'm good." Like, "Nah, come on, man, smoke some weed." And they're like, "How old are you?" And I told them, I'm like, "I'm 26." And the Japanese guy said, "Motherfucker, lying, you ain't no motherfucking 26."
Isn't that Yakuza own Pride fighting championship?
Wife Paige went to the Taylor Swift concert, and so did most of the state of Florida. Did you know how much those tickets are? The lowest ticket, $600. I don't know if there's anybody in the world I would pay $600 to go see.
Yeah.
We asked, which concert would you pay $500 to see? And Josh and I had to do, they have to be dead and like resurrected for us to go see.
And it could be at any point in their career.
Yes.
I have an answer.
Okay.
Prime time Johnny Cash.
That's good.
Who did I say the other day?
You said Queen.
Queen. Cool. Yeah.
Oh,
Queen.
wow.
Queen would, dude.
Wow.
What a great concert that would be.
Fun fact about the hometown I come from, Andy Griffith had a band back in the day. He used to like hide from his celebrity fandom, and he'd come down there and play concerts at the country club.
Cute.
He was a singer?
Yeah, they were just like folky, like small town on the bayou type things. I would pay $500 to see my town.
Is he
back
still
then.
alive?
I think so.
No?
Yeah.
I would love to see Zeppelin.
Wow, yeah.
Pink Floyd. But I think my true answer is the Cranberries.
No way.
To see Dolores.
Cranberries.
Yes.
A middle schooler was perp walked to jail after his astonishing stash of weapons was revealed. Carlo Kingston Dorelli of Port Orange has been charged with making a written threat of a mass shooting after he threatened to shoot up either his school, Creekside Middle School, or nearby Silver Sands Middle School. Volusia County Sheriff's Office said they received a tip from other students that Dorelli showed off his collection of weapons in a FaceTime call, along with a list of targets. During an ensuing search of the boy's room, authorities found a large amount of airsoft rifles, fake ammunition, swords, knives, and throwing stars. Officials also found a paper in his room with several names that appeared to have stab marks next to them. The 11-year-old later admitted he couldn't remember if he told his friends that the airsoft rifles were not real functioning firearms. Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood vowed to hold any child accountable who makes fake threats to shoot up schools.
Every time we make an arrest, your kid's photo is going to be put out there. And if I could do it, I'm going to perp walk your kid so that everybody can see what your kid's up to.
Dorelli was taken into custody as deputies filmed him being handcuffed and perp walked into the Volusia Family Resource Center for processing before he would be transported to the Department of Juvenile Justice.
Do it again and again and again. Do the same with the parents. It's not just Diddy, it's all of Hollywood.
While living, be a dead man, thoroughly dead. And
What?
then, whatever you do, just as you will be right. The backwards law, the law of paradox. In one sense, the more dead you become, the more alive you become. The more soft you become, the stronger you become.
Ooh.
Because this is the principle of bend and survive. Laziness is the mother of invention. How to achieve what you want to
Laziness.
achieve by the easiest possible way, letting go. And this, after all, is the height of intelligence.
Interesting.
This is the type of pager that blew up and exploded and so far has killed 10 people. 400 people are in serious condition and almost 3,000 are seriously injured. They're made by American company Motorola, who supplied these in recent months. It's the latest model of this pager. Now, Motorola also supplies a lot of communications equipment to Israel and the Israeli Defense Forces. Now, so far, there has been no evidence that Motorola was knowingly involved in this, and it's most likely a supply chain hack. But we're going to have to see how this plays out in the coming days.
Motorola is not going to recover after this, even if there is no evidence.
The Manananggal is a legendary creature from Filipino folklore, often depicted as a terrifying, vampire-like being. By day, it appears as a normal human, but by night, it transforms into a monstrous creature. The Manananggal separates its upper body from its lower half, sprouting bat-like wings to fly in search of prey. It is known for preying on pregnant women, using its elongated tongue to suck out the hearts of unborn children. To protect oneself from a Manananggal, placing salt or garlic on its severed lower body prevents it from reuniting, ultimately leading to its demise at dawn.
Yup, we have this folklore too in Indonesia, especially here in Bali. But we call it kuyang, exact same thing.
Disgusting medieval custom. In Europe before the 15th century, people never stayed up late. As soon as the sun set, everyone went to rest because 80% of crimes took place during the night. In fact, crime rates in medieval Europe were even higher than in modern-day America. Without armor, leaving the house was practically suicidal. And if you had to go out, you'd better have your will written first. In the 13th century, a blacksmith who worked late into the night to make 2 extra blades was found stabbed to death the next day. A poet named Thomas Middleton once wrote about the nightly routine, stating, "Night, no occupation but sleep, feed, and fart."
What?
Back then, stores did sell tallow candles, but they were extremely expensive. Around 68 pounds for just 1 pound of wax.
That's crazy.
The average person couldn't afford them and had to rely on burning a mixture of cow dung, straw, and wood chips for
Cow
light,
dung?
which provided warmth but smelled awful.
Ugh.
By the 15th century, Europeans began staying up late more often as the price of candles dropped, though they were still out of reach for most people. However, the nobles could afford them and became fond of hosting masquerade balls. Not only did they wear masks, but they also dressed as lower-class laborers, such as shepherds and maids. The reasoning? They believed that by disguising themselves as commoners, they could indulge in debauchery without consequence. In the past, lighting 7 candles was considered extravagant, but now the nobility would light up to 500 at a time. And some events were deliberately held at night, just to flaunt their wealth with excessive candlelight.
I cannot imagine the smoke of their cow dung.
The average Dane has 14 friends. The average American has 1 or 2. People think that's a cultural thing. No, it's genetics.
Yeah.
America attracted the highest testosterone people, and testosterone makes a man like a wolf. You're a lone wolf. Dr. Helen Fisher told me the most serotonin she's ever seen in a group of people is Denmark. So serotonin makes you work together. It makes you less physically aggressive. It makes you a little happier. It makes you have a large social.
Let me know how you feel about this.
Vampires can be beautiful, morbid, even monstrous. But the most harrowing subtype of all may be those called rotters. As seen here, a specimen known only as the Shark Woman. For obvious reasons, her appearance is the result of a fluke in the vampiric curse. It's been observed that vampires who seldom feed take on a death-like appearance, most commonly among recluse subtypes. But whereas these examples are not quite decomposition and revert upon feeding, rotters actually decompose like corpses, though they remain alive. This is sometimes temporary, but irreversible. The one called Wet Bones is a much more dramatic example, continuing to deteriorate for several years, making him appear almost like a ghoul, the inhuman mimics that imitate and feed off the dead. Yet Wet Bones, like all rotters, is a vampire like any other, merely imperfectly transitioned into undeath. Stay tuned to learn more about vampire social hierarchies and vampire lords.
So everybody already knows that Diddy got arrested and that he's well on his way to being the cream pie in a biracial, multicultural, all-male gangbang in federal prison. But I'm not gonna lie, this shocked me a little bit. The judge absolutely denied him having any bail, which means he cannot bond out, which means that he's gonna be sitting there waiting for trial for the duration, and federal trials like this can take literal years. Even though these are really serious charges, he's rich and he's famous, and we don't normally treat rich and famous people like this. Plus, he offered $50 million bond, plus his mother's homes and properties as collateral. He offered to go on like ankle bracelet monitored house arrest until the trial, and the judge was still like, nah, you sitting right here. I think it's awesome and ironic that they found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube when they raided his house, and the judge didn't use one drop at that bond hearing. Now, just like Young Thug and Melly, he's just sitting there stuck until he either beats the case or he goes to federal pound him in his ass prison.
Which worse, federal prison, state prison, or county jails?
Hey, did you know gossip is primarily witchcraft, just with a little W on it? If you have a habit of talking bad about people and destroying their character, that's participating with demons, and that's a form of witchcraft. It's an easy way to do a spell. So what does gossip actually look like in the spiritual realm? Well, it involves demons. So what it looks like is demons hang around people who have a habit of talking bad or destroying the character of another person. And they have no intention of seeing them succeed or grow in God. So when someone gossip, it literally looks like vomit coming out of the person's mouth. Vomit, nasty, green, bile-looking vomit that is coming out of the person's mouth. And demons will be around that person who is talking bad, and they will bathe in the gossip. They'll bathe in the nasty vomit. Sometimes the demons will actually drink the vomit. If it is very potent and it tastes really good, demons will actually drink it. So then the demon takes those negative words that they either drank or they bathed in, and they go and they attach themselves to the person, and they inflict the person with those words.
What?
If you have a habit of doing that, congratulations, you just did witchcraft.
Ooh.
An angel came and told me one time, he said, we fight off more Christian curses or Christian witchcraft called gossip more than your regular average spells. The angel then said that sometimes Christians mask behind the idea that they're actually praying for somebody. Such things as this: oh Lord, I just thank you that so-and-so's this, where they are literally destroying someone's character and hiding it behind a prayer. Some of you intercessors are guilty of this, and I know because I've been around it. So angels will then actually have to fight off Christian curses called gossip, because when a Christian, get this, when someone who knows Jesus ends up gossiping or talking bad about someone's character, it actually empowers the demonic realm at a greater level than someone who doesn't actually know Jesus. So demons are actually looking for Christians to gossip more by causing them to hold on to unforgiveness and bitterness.
Wow.
So we've got to learn to tame our tongues. We have got to learn to bless with our tongues.
Amen, amen.
You are held accountable for your words. I once had an angel follow me around, and he literally recorded every word I was saying. It was so uncomfortable, but it challenged me to really take ownership of the words I'm speaking. Listen, if you have a habit of gossiping or find it encouraging or energetic for you to talk bad about somebody, you would be considered a witch or a warlock or something in the demonic kingdom. They don't see a difference between someone who actually practices spells and someone who gossips. Demons don't see a difference between the two. To them, it's the same, and it comes from the same source, the pit of hell. So I encourage you to repent and clean up your words, so that way demons don't hang around you and you aren't their friend. I love you guys. Talk to you later.
If you are venting to your best friend about someone who is mistreating you, is that a gossip? drop a comment.
The greatest guitar player who ever lived. All it'll cost you is your soul.
Okay, you got yourself a deal.
And just so you know, with this purchase of a soul, I will also give a soul to a child in need.
Yeah, I don't want that.
It's no additional cost to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my way of giving back out of my end.
Seems like it's probably baked into the price.
If your ultimate goal is to be famous, then you're gonna do a lot to get there, like sign your name in blood in a contract with the devil.
Hollywood Records contract, and I'm signing it to have my first record ever and selling my soul to Hollywood Records.
You're a puppet.
Well, he sold his soul. She sold his soul. If you sign that contract, you sign the contract and got that money, you sold your soul. Period. Point blank period. As soon as you sign that contract, you sold your soul.
They actually made a movie about this. It's called The Crossroads, and they show some episodes in Supernatural.
Had to like their limbs to shove them in there.
Yeah, it's so up.
I just want them back.
The wife and kids. There was body cam footage from the police officer. You see a little girl head in one of the bedrooms and then like runs away. You see it right there? He turned on the TV while the cops were there. And you know how he put and mom in oil, right?
Yeah.
On the TV, right when he turned it on, it showed a in oil.
The reason why he got caught was because of the mom's best friend. Because she walked in, she's like, she would never leave without her medication.
Yeah.
These are the shoes she would wear out. If he's such a bad faker, he's such a bad actor.
Like, yeah. I want everybody to just come home. Like, wherever they're at, come home.
When he got sent to prison, he was begging the judge to send him to the mental asylum instead because he was being haunted at the prison. He said he was seeing ghosts, he was seeing demons, and he was seeing so much different shit.
And like every night, I read that to them like every night. And like there's some scripture and stuff that I read to them. So
also the oil rig thing was like such a small
he had to
like
somebody told me not to mention mermaids. It's dumb.
Don't mention mermaids?
I saw a mermaid.
Really?
Yeah.
When?
In Seychelles, Africa.
You saw an actual mermaid?
That's what it was. It was a swimming person.
Really?
Yeah.
Think there's like a small population of mermaids that are out there?
But anyway. Me and this little French boy, and they said don't swim in the lagoon after dark. Everybody's up at the bar, and so everybody's gonna go down. Everybody's kind of racing now. So me and him go down. Me and him get in the water. From a distance, you see something coming like a fuck, but it's going fast, and we both kind of stop. And then it turns and it jumps out of the water. And it's maybe at least 10, 12 feet long, man. And it do like this, and it look at both of us and go, whoo. The water was only not this deep. Didn't make a splash or nothing. And then and me and him turned the we running, and everybody's coming down there laughing, got their drinks in their hand. We're like, no, and the little boy in French, and his mom is apologizing to me, saying he has a very vivid imagination. He said, no, listen, we saw a fishman dude who said, get the out the pool. He had, the back of him was fish. The back of him was fish. His head was humanoid, eyes about.
Someone said people who have actually seen mermaids are not supposed to tell everyone. Is that true?
Swift, like Beyonce, Billie Eilish, like all of them. They talk about influence, right? I just think about where I was in my life over and over again, and like the patterns that I looped through and who was in my ears the whole time. And when you have that to look up to, like, what are you living for? Like, her fan base is massive, and this is the influence.
Ooh.
And like, this is what it's perpetuating, like, culturally.
Oh my goodness.
We can break it down and see what it promotes. It promotes sex, manipulation. Who are you influenced by? Who are you following? Who are these young girls looking up to? And I care about this because it was me. I care about this because I have a little sister. Like, if you're a parent, can't you just take one glance at that and say, I don't want my daughter listening to that?
Right.
It literally, it's foul. I know that I've made life-altering decisions based off of what celebrities told me was a good idea, based off of terrible advice.
Anyone that's not under the Spirit of God is operating under a spirit of disobedience. And so these people that are making this music, creating this music, they're operating under spirits of disobedience, which transforms to rebellion, manipulation, witchcraft, fornication, that Jezebel spirit, right? That spirit of death, like all of these unclean spirits.
You're consuming those things, and like, how is there question marks? Like, why is my child depressed?
Right.
Why is she anxious? Why does she deal with anxiety? Like, even that has become so normalized. That is not normal.
It's not.
That's not normal. Like, bitch, become so accepted and put them on pills. Like, no. The damage is so
Put it on pill?
obvious and people are still missing it.
Music is a gift from God, but the devil manipulates people and offers fame in exchange of an influential gift.
Person walked up behind them and they said, "Oh, you're looking for haunted items as well." There's this guy. He
There's this
found
guy.
a statue of almost like a monkey, but it's weird. This is what he explained. Goes with his girlfriend to this antique store. They're going through and there's this one thing that caught his eye. But when he saw it, he said like it felt as if it's a child, but it makes him feel a way that's strange. When he picked it up, he took a picture. When he put it down, a person walked up behind them and they said, "Oh, you're looking for haunted items as well." Put it down. Time goes by. They go home. Bro takes a shower. When he's taking a shower, he just keeps thinking about the monkey for some reason. It's like stuck in his head. He doesn't know why. The way he explained it was, it's almost as if it was telling him to take it because he needed to help it, if that makes sense. He needs
Like
to
it
save
knew,
it.
yeah.
So he explains that to his girlfriend, right? And his girlfriend starts wilding out because his girl is a witch. She practices Wiccan. She just goes, "Did it make you feel desperate?"
Why?
Apparently, if something makes you feel desperate, that's not a spirit, it's a
Police rescued a 64-year-old Thai woman who was in a python's clutches for hours. The woman was washing dishes when she felt several bites on her leg. The python then coiled itself around her and she collapsed. After struggling to break free for 2 hours, a neighbor heard her cries for help and alerted authorities. Rescue teams freed her after 30 minutes and she was sent to the hospital for treatment, according to the police. Police were unable to capture the python and it escaped.
What? What do you mean they were unable to capture the python? It was there.
Demons kind of like follow you around. And in the Jewish Talmud, it says there's so many demons compared to humans that an average man on a regular day might have 30,000 of them on his left sleeve. That's what it says. Like crazy to think about. That's what the Jews believed. So they follow you around kind of like caseworkers. I'm not talking about possession or oppression. It'd take about 30 minutes to explain that. Basically, they're just like assigned to your life, like caseworkers. The way I think of it and the way I explain it. They follow you around and they look for grievances. He didn't put his left signal on. He's disrespecting the law of the land. And they write up a little fictitious lawsuit, take it to the court of heaven and see if they can get it passed. The court's like, no, this is frivolous. And they just keep writing these like legal cases against you until they get something to stick. Until Jesus is like, yeah, that is something they need to, you're right. Okay, I'll prove that one. They show up to your life with a warrant to destroy your life, and you've given it to them through your actions, and it's signed by Jesus. And so you're like, in Jesus' name, leave it. They're like, bruh, Jesus is the one that signed it.
Yikes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you've got to repent change your mind, right? And so like when
I'm not sure that's biblical. It's an interesting theory, but I don't think it's biblical.
There's this guy, everyone calls him Hollywood. He's 19, and Hollywood is about to go to prison for life. So Hollywood, he's kind of a big deal in his neighborhood. In fact, he's the local Zaza dealer. But one day, he needs to collect some money from someone in his crew. This guy, Ben. Ben owes Hollywood about $1,200. And Hollywood's like, oh, I'm getting that money. So Hollywood and his crew, they drive over to Ben's house. But Ben, he isn't home. Instead, they see Ben's younger half-brother, this kid, Nick. Nick is 15. And Nick, he's a nice kid. He isn't involved in any of this gang life or his brother's debt at all. Regardless, Hollywood really wants to teach Ben a lesson. So they see Nick walking along, and bam, they jump out of their van, and they beat him up a little bit. And then they throw him in the back of the van, and they drive away, essentially kidnapping him. A few hours later, Nick's parents notice he's gone, and they freak out and they call the police. But by that time, Hollywood and his gang have already driven him 70 miles away, from Los Angeles all the way to Santa Barbara. Now, the gang has Nick, and he's all tied up, and they don't really know what to do with him. So they give him alcohol and other substances to chill him out. And over the next few days in Santa Barbara, the gang takes Nick and they hop from get together to get together, and eventually they end up at a pool party being thrown at a motel. And there's a bunch of other people there, and by this point, Nick, he doesn't even really feel kidnapped. In fact, he's having a great time. He's drinking, he's meeting people, he's hanging out with older, cooler kids. He even makes friends with this girl that's always hanging around, and he gets, a little crush on her. She is fine. So for Nick, this kidnapping thing turned into something kind of fun. Until at some point during all this, Hollywood finally comes to a realization. Oh shit, he actually kidnapped someone. That is a huge deal. What happens if he gets caught? So he panics and he goes and he meets up with a family friend who is also an attorney, and he's gonna get some legal advice. And this attorney straight up tells him, buddy, you're fucked. If you get caught, anyone involved in kidnapping Nick is probably gonna get life in prison. So Hollywood's just like, say less, I'm gonna take care of this. And so he hits up this other guy, Ryan Hoyt.
No.
And Ryan Hoyt, he also owes Hollywood some money, and Hollywood's like, look, if you unalive this Nick kid for me, that'll clear your debt. And Ryan Hoyt's like, alright. And then Hollywood hands him a duffel bag with an automatic pew-pew in it. Meanwhile, Nick is still back with the gang, partying, thinking, they're treating me well. They're probably gonna release me soon. But of course, that's not what they do. Instead, they take him up into the Santa Barbara mountains because they're gonna unalive him. So they get him up there and they bound him with duct tape so he can't resist. And there's a shallow grave there that some of the guys had dug for him. And as Nick stands there, scared out of his mind, suddenly, pow! Ryan Hoyt hits him over the back of the head with a shovel. And while Nick is down, Ryan pulls out his pew-pew, and with one pull of the trigger, 9 shots go off. And then Nick falls into the grave,
poor Nick.
unalived. And then the guys bury him, and they flee the scene. Here's the thing about this grave, though. It's shallow. Too shallow. And it doesn't really conceal the body very well. Plus, this spot in the mountains they chose is near a popular hiking trail. So within a few days, random pedestrians are just walking by, and they spot Nick's body, and they report it. A few days later, the story of Nick's body being found hits the Santa Barbara newspaper. And from there, the leads just start pouring in. Because a lot of people had seen Nick hanging out at those parties the gang took him to. Not to mention, the girl who he had befriended, who he was crushing on, she hears about this and she goes straight to the police and she tells them everything she knows. And then a few hours later, bam, police arrest Ryan Hoyt. Here's his mugshot. They also go and arrest some of the other guys. Here's a couple of their mugshots. However, unfortunately, by this time, Hollywood is nowhere to be found. He's already fled the country. First to Canada, then all the way to Brazil. So the FBI gets involved, and they look for him for years. 4 years, actually. And eventually, they find him living a completely new life in Brazil. And bam, they arrest him there. Here's his mugshot.
Ooh.
And ultimately, Hollywood gets life in prison without parole. Ryan Hoyt gets the death penalty, although later his sentence is commuted to life in prison. And another guy also gets life in prison, and 2 other members of the gang, they get lighter sentences. They're actually both out now. So, shout out to Alpha Dog.
So instead of just driving him back home to avoid kidnapping charges and life in prison, they chose to murder him and got life in prison. Got it.
Yo. What's good, my boy?
What's good, my boy?
Your parents look like they going yada 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 yada. That's out my way, man. For real. Tight ass pants.
Tell him, Uncle.
I swear it look like you going yada 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 yada. Like you running somewhere. What the fuck wrong with you? I'm just looking at you. You going share. Your pants look like they going like that. Yada 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 yada. Like the you doing, man? Sit your ass down.
Sit your ass down.
Can you breathe? Like, dog.
I'm your nephew, man. Stop that.
If your uncle can't tell you, who can? God, dog.
Yeah.
Big ass Tevin Mescalian.
What?
Not Megan, Tevin.
Tevin Mescalian.
Tevin Mescalian. Tell him, Uncle. All right, folks. Thank you for staying till the end. Be kind to each other. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And don't forget to like or dislike so I can make a better content. There's a free gift below. And if you want to buy me coffee or support me through Patreon, the links are in the description below. Have a prosperous day and God bless.